Namaskaram. In the previous video, we're discussing about the differences between studying and learning. And in this particular video, we'll try to understand how we can enhance the learning efficiency. So yesterday, we had our study buddy Dikshita who worked with Pranati in terms of helping her increase her learning speed or learning process in auditing. So let us first listen from Dikshita about what she did and what was her approach in terms of helping Pranati pick up auditing fast. So, Dikshita, what did you actually do yesterday?
Uh, so subjects like auditing, where you open the module, each chapter has like some 100 pages. Sometimes it seems very overwhelming and you would not know where to concentrate. So first approach we went with her was Q&A mode, question answer mode, where she had already done the learning objectives, the summary and MCQ. She worked on those. So she had a basic idea of the chapter. Then we did the question answer mode. So we revised the whole chapter through question answer mode. So that really helped her to know how the answers also should be written. So once you do the question answer mode, when she was again revising through the module, it was helpful for her to pick the main things. Sometimes when you're reading, to underline the main keywords and to pick what you have to write is very important. Sometimes you would not know when you're just reading it because it's so vague. But when you go through question answer mode, you'll actually get a better clarity.
So first change is learning through Q&A mode.
Yeah.
Second, when you are given responsibility, let's say when you have to study auditing yourself, you did a series of things. That is for yourself.
Yeah.
Now, when you are actually taking responsibility for someone's learning, where the cognitive process is not in your control and you don't know them entirely as much you know. So, for picking your own skill versus helping someone pick their learning skill, what was the difference in your approach?
Okay, so I don't know if I would have put this much effort into my learning. I don't think I put this much effort. So when I was given the task of teaching somebody, I have to be very precise. Any mistake I make, that can alter their understanding of the subject. So first I had to understand, so that helped me get a better conceptual clarity. That helped me get a better grasp of the subject to convey it in a better way and in a way that they will remember, not just mugging up for someone who's not done classes and all, when their concepts need to be strong. So you have to tell it in a way that they'll remember, like learning versus studying. When you study, you'll remember it temporarily but not permanently. When you're learning the concept, it's always there with you. So even if you're not prepared, like even if you didn't study a day before, if you have the conceptual clarity, you'll be able to answer. So that is what I wanted for. I was ensuring that she understands the meaning, the concept, so that she doesn't totally depend on, oh, I haven't touched the book, so I wouldn't know the answer. So I didn't want. So we were working on that, and for the chapters we did, I hope that worked out.
So Pranati, from your side, how was yesterday different from any other day before, and how helpful was the overall?
Yesterday was different because Dikshita was there to mentor me and learn how the subject like audit. And before I used to study alone. Only my perspective was there. Now she had a experience in audit. I think I could use that help. She already has the experience how to present and how the questions are coming in the exam. So I could take that from her and learn it better.
Okay, so what are the three things which were extremely helpful? If you have to break it down to 1, 2, 3, what were the three things?
I could say that her experience in audit and the way she's learning and picking up the keywords and stuff, and that's also. So, and a mentor be same age and same thoughts, and so we could say we have the same perspective, so it's easy to learn when you have same perspective. And
now, in terms of actually understanding the subject, what changed?
Actually understanding the subject, what changed?
For a given chapter,
I'm able to memorize it soon and recall what.
So one is you're able to learn faster, memorize better, and recall.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's all the main things which I lacked, and now I got that.
So, what do you think has worked? Because let's look at all the three things.
Now, the perspective.
Learning faster.
Yeah.
How were you able to learn faster? What changed?
I could say the perspective and the I saw it from a different point of view. And then I'm able to grasp that.
Okay, now you understood how to pick up things.
Yes.
That is about learning.
Learning, yeah.
Now, how are you able to retain longer and memorize better?
Yes.
What helped?
Active memorizing.
So can I explain it further? Like when it's active memorizing, what did she actually make you do?
She was like, whenever we speak, whenever we have a normal conversation, she used to ask what is SA 500. So like, oh yeah, it's audit evidence, like the
Yeah.
thing that.
So okay, she was trying to
pick things in between. Yes.
without like, complete context or
yes.
surprise way, so that you're always alert and ready. So this is about memorizing. Now the recall part. How did you test whether you're able to recall or not?
And after everything, we just memorizing. We wrote a notes. So whatever we see our SA 500, oh, it's audit evidence.
Okay.
So we are able to recall it fast.
So you practically tested all these improvements.
Yeah.
Good. So you're happy with what has happened.
Yes.
So do you think doing more of this will help you crack both the groups?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Now, rather, you know both these guys individually, how they spend their time and how they learn. So yesterday, all of us noticed one thing: they're very intense. They kind of locked themselves in a particular space and they worked on it. So, what changes did you see in them as compared to their day, any other day? Like how would normally Pranti be? How would normally Dikshita be? When they work together with this intense target, what are the changes you observe?
So both of them are very playful people, and we talk. In general, all the three of us are very talkative, and for people like that, being together and not talking is a very big task. So yesterday they were very intense. I went back home, like to the place where they were studying for my break, and then they were very particular that I don't talk, and and there was a time where they locked themselves inside her room, and then they were like studying. So normally in on any other day they would talk and be playful and stuff like that, but yesterday was a very different situation. I was very happy that she was very happy. She was very satisfied.
So you saw a clear cut change in terms of how the concept of study buddy is working.
Yeah, yes.
Good. So Dikshita, moving ahead, you said two, three things. One, more than you studying for yourself, you put in extra effort, which indirectly means penalty high maintenance. That's one thing. Now, apart from this, uh, how helpful is this process for you? Now, we are looked into how this is helpful for Pranit in terms of improving the learning process, increasing her retention part, significantly working on her recall speed. All these aspects changed, the memory dynamics. For you, how was it helpful? And what are the two, three skills which you picked up yesterday?
Patience.
Yeah.
Yeah, patience. But first main skill that I usually lack, and I'm usually called a latecomer everywhere, like late Latif kind of a thing. So I'm not that great at time management. So whenever, even when it is about myself during my exams, even one night before the exams, how I was with my time scheduling. But yesterday when I had to like go after her, I was looking at the clock and looking at her. Already 1 hour up, 45 minutes up, our target's up. So that time consciousness is what I got for that one day. I hope that retains, but that is that time consciousness, that time management factor, I would say, which was I usually don't have it with myself. And then the next is um, a, a constructive thinking, like how to actually plan in what ways. Like if it's vague, then it won't work out. The way you think. So when you told me, I actually first which chapters has high weightage, how to go about, or what all to cover, and sometimes you have to weigh either this or that, and that takes a lot of thinking. So I feel that way.
So one way, as she started with patience, time management, to become responsible, and most importantly, you're talking about structured thinking. I think this is the biggest thing. You're able to start thinking in a very structured way since you're responsible for someone else. So, do you think it's worth putting the time for someone else?
Yes, because when you see them clear their obstacle, and when you know that you are at least a helping hand in their success, then it gives you satisfaction.
No, so this answers all of your questions. Many points of time when you ask me why am I able to
I'm
do what I'm able to do, this is an answer.
okay.
So when you're talking about study buddy, I think we should not have this discussion without a original study buddy. So we would like to have Manju here. Manju, come here. We have to let that be. Just leave it there. Just come here. Yeah. Join Pranit. So you observed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come.
Uh, you observed what has happened. Now, if you have to correlate this with what happened between you and Radha, is it what you had in your mind and you completed the entire cycle? So, what are the other dimensions of working with someone as a study buddy or study mentor? So, what are the other had more to the conversation?
So you're asking me in terms of like working for someone else and having a study buddy.
Yes.
What's the
Yes.
difference and
Yes.
how the
Yes.
dynamics have changed? Yeah, working for someone else is entirely like Dikshita said, you have a sense of responsibility for their result. You work with a sense of my student and my result. You know, there's a ownership, there's a even though if it's for you, I mean, even if you're doing it for yourself, there's still ownership, but somehow there's added weightage in terms of, you know, when you're putting it for someone else, it's just different. I cannot describe it, but it's very different from when you're putting it for yourself. For yourself, you're a little more lenient.
Yeah.
When in terms of if you're doing it for others, you're more very rigid and very strict because you want certain things to happen. I think that sense of control gave me that, you know, enjoyment when I was doing it for Radha. And with me also, when I had a study
Keyword is
buddy,
enjoyment.
when I had a study buddy, it was very helpful actually. Me and Mitra we used to study together, and it was very insightful because Mitra was a person who had her things sorted out. Structured thinking and all I used to put for others, but she used to
Yeah.
put in for herself.
I
So
understand.
I learned that prioritization from her. So study buddy actually helped me in that way, and also in terms of the subject conceptual knowledge. Whenever I had any doubt or lack of any conceptual clarity, I used to ask her because she was sorted with her syllabus already. She started early and other things, so it helped a lot. But yeah, I think the sense of ownership when doing it for others, it's just different, sir. I cannot describe it, but it gives another sense of satisfaction. Even though you have to do it for yourself, but doing it for others feels entirely different.
So, in terms of making it objective, in terms of the marks, let's say between somebody preparing for this on their own, adding a study buddy for each of these students at a particular level, how many marks do you think can be added in a span of 3 months? Like you normally score X with study buddy at your disposal. How many additional marks can you score? If you can give a number.
Okay. So it also depends on the openness of taking
No, we'll figure out
things.
everything.
Okay.
The whole point is study buddy. When I say that,
Okay.
we'll do reasonable filtering and reasonable nurturing, reasonable training to make sure this fits. So, given everything goes according to the plan, by involving one more
Person into the equation.
what could be the contribution in terms of marks out of 600? Like if you look at both the groups, because of 3 months of association, what is the number we can add?
I think per subject, at least a minimum of 10 marks, I'd say.
Okay.
A minimum of 10 marks is what another person will add to the equation.
Okay.
So if you look at 6 subjects, then it's
Now Radha understands the next question. So Radha, from your mark sheet, how much did Manju add in each of the subjects, starting with accounts? Give me a number.
Accounts. Even I don't know what is there in the textbook. Everything she's my textbook. So accounts, this is her mark sheet.
So it's not 1048 in accounts.
Yeah, so 48 is her only. And law, law, you took care of that subject. She was there for my exams and something. So considerably something about 20 marks or something.
Out of 52, you're saying 20
Yeah,
marks.
rest all is yours.
So you can see that at least 10 plus marks are added because of the study work.
Yeah.
Math.
She, okay.
Okay.
Maths, major credit goes to you because I didn't do any learning in maths. So it was mostly paper solving. And one thing Manjoka did was she wrote notes for me. So that helped me a lot. So
Out of
probably
60, how many marks?
30 marks, 20, 30.
So always more
So
than 10. First,
always more than 10. For all subjects, more than 10.
So
Yeah.
you agree with her statement that by attaching a study buddy, you can score 10 plus marks?
Yeah, she was my mentor. We were not studying together. They even yesterday when we both studied together, that first day, that was where we explained to each other. Both of us didn't know. We studied together and
See, when I say
explained.
study buddy, we are working with someone who knows more than you. You understand the concept, right? I'm not talking about your peers.
Ah, okay.
I'm talking about someone who knows more than you, which is proven. For example, Dikshita already completed the cycle. She went through that, and we are reasonably impressed with the way she picked up. So definitely at this junction, Dikshita knows more about intermediate than Pranati. That is exactly what I'm looking at. So with this equation, if we are able to add 10 marks in each subject, which is almost 60, 70 marks, which is aggregate risk is completely removed, is what. So in your case, you're saying if I look at the number, it's almost 100 marks, but then let me reduce it to 50. But that is something which is already happening, right? That is clear. So Pranati, if you keep getting this kind of support, do you think you can add 10 marks per subject?
Yes, sir, more than 10 marks.
More than 10 marks.
Yes.
That is all.
Yeah.
You already answered. So Dikshita, if you're looking this as a concept, concept of knowledge transfer, skill transfer, and orientation for I would say each of the students. Are you confident of ensuring that this process adds 10 marks per subject?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
sure about it.
Yeah.
And why?
Uh, because person who's already experienced and gone through the cycle will already tell you more than what to do, what not to do. So that way it will save them time on just focusing on what to do and what to focus. That itself will, because like you say, the more you reduce the scope, the more one source material, everything, when you like put an undivided attention, you grasp better. So that way, as a study buddy, I feel you are reducing your scope lower and your concentration becomes more because they take care of certain things that you need not do, which might add your efficiency. That
So, with the discussion, we are mutually concluding that if we have a study buddy, we're adding 10 marks per subject, which is going to remove the aggregate risk. As an individual, you only have to score 40. The remaining 10, your study buddy will give it to you. Right? Now, the challenges here are how do you find, as you were rightly pointing out, how do you find the right study buddy, both in terms of the knowledge transfer from study buddy, in terms of the reception, in terms of working the ecosystem in a harmonious way. So, there we have to put in some work in training how to help the study buddy teach the student and how to help the student receive the insights from the study buddy. It's a good mic, it picks up sound all extra. So that is exactly what we are looking at. Okay, so thanks for sharing your insights. We'll work on this. Probably we'll make a follow-up video in a week's time to see what is the actual goal. I'm looking at improvement of at least 10 marks in this 1 week itself. Okay? Probably for auditing itself, we'll arrive at it for writing exams, starting with the first exam today, based on I remember the challenge. So we'll explore that in the next couple of hours, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, thank you. So you make sure you watch the part one before you watch this, which will be helpful.